Okay, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Morning, Joey.
Yes. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How's everybody? We got a bit of a gang in here. Hello, everybody.
Yes. As they lots of people in the chat.
McCall is saying hello. I'm sure you can hear him. He's been very chatty this morning.
And I've missed a lot of people saying hello, but I'm trying.
Good. We are.
They're coming in fast.
We have a shipment in this morning. We thought we would do an unboxing live on stream. Thomas is here. Thomas is here early to help set that up. So once we get him online, we'll try to get this going.
Okay. Well, I'm sure everybody will enjoy that. Yeah, so it's fun to see what you're getting in the store.
Glassbox Fox. Let's talk about Substrate. Glassbox Fox just placed a big order of Substrate, which we shipped out yesterday.
Oh, wow.
We neglected to include the directions, and we shipped to a half a dozen people. So we're going to be sending everybody the directions by email. So you will get that today. My apologies. It should have gone in with the box. But you'll get the directions before you get the product. Who knows how long it'll take. We shipped at post office today, but it may take 3 or 4 days. So in any case, for those of you who ordered Substrate, that is in the mail as of yesterday.
Very good.
So we'll see how that goes.
All right.
Oh, my.
I'm seeing mostly, we're all just saying hello this morning.
Everybody's saying hello.
Yeah. He's going to be lurking for a little bit.
She is packing, I guess.
I think that's why she's going to be lurking. Yeah.
Cassie B is here. Yep. Cassie B, I did not get a chance to call you yesterday. I finally got back online after you finally gave up. You were heroic, absolutely heroic. You hung in there. You were helping people out, answering questions. You did an amazing job. I was just thoroughly pleased and delighted to have such competence and such, what's the word I want to use?
It's bringing tears to my eyes.
Oh dear.
No,
As
she
does
did.
everything, right?
She did a great
No,
job. You did, Cassie, yesterday. It was
she
fabulous.
really did. Yeah, it was.
You did.
As I said, it was heroic. And thank you so very, very much.
Yeah.
Cassie will be on Thursdays, Tuesdays, Mondays and Thursdays with me. I'm trying to work out something with Mary. I think I want to get her up on the weekend, at least one day on the weekend. And then Joey will be up the other couple of days. So we're trying to get things a little better organized around here. The birds are chattering away. Can you hear?
So you have a nice statement from J Led, and they're new. Would you like to look at it? It's actually at 9 a.m. right at 9. From J Led.
Yeah, let me go back. Way back. Way back.
Statement sort of and a question at the same time.
Karuna Garashayland. Just found this channel. I'm mesmerized. I watched 2 hours of your videos last night. I have a question. I'm setting on 32 fluval flags. What would the mud sand ratio be? A fluval flex. So is that a filter? That's the tank. What is a fluval flex?
I personally don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I feel like it would be a filtration system, but
that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, like a
fluval would be the tank or the filter.
Right.
Well, the mud sand ratio, Jalen, should be 1 inch of mud to 2 inches of sand. Unless you've got something else going on there that I'm not aware of. Maybe explain what a fluval flex is. If it's simply the tank, then that would be the only issue.
Oh, somebody's saying, is it a bow front? Maybe it's a bow front tank. Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, that may be. That may be. 29. That's a great size tank. I really like that size tank. I like it better than I do the 55. The 55 is probably my least favorite tank. And that's mostly because it's too narrow for the length. It needs to be deeper. It needs to be 18 inches deep, which would make it, a 90, I guess.
Well, or, yeah, a 75
about 90.
is the same.
75, 80,
or
yeah.
75 or 90, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, if it's a few inches taller, it would be 20 inches would be 90. 18 by 18.
Yeah.
1.5 times 1.5, whatever that is, times 4 times 8 is the gallon inch. And my brain's not working real well. 1.5 times 1.5. 1/2 of 1.5 is 3/4. So 3/4 and a half is 1.5. So that's 2 1/4 times 4 is 5 times 8 is 40. That's not right.
So
Jay 64. Yeah, 64.
So put in the chat that the tank is a 32 long bow front. So that should
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, fabulous tank. Really, really, really nice tank. What you can do if you want to try it is sculpture the mud at the front so it's not showing. Just kind of when you put the mud in, just kind of layer it back a little bit from the edge up front, and then clean that edge real good with water, like a spray of water or a drip to clean the front of it off, and then put the sand in. That way you'll have sand right to the bottom. So you're going to have like 3 inches of sand showing in the front, and then just push the mud back a little bit, not much, just enough to get it away from the glass and put the sand in right away. That'll keep you from having that two-colored layer, which I like, but that's
Right,
me
but
because I'm weird.
I've done it both ways, just
Yeah,
the dirt and the sand, and then I have done that where I've pulled it away a little so that I just have a nice edge in the front and still have the dirt
yeah,
in the back.
yeah,
Right? Either way, whatever you like
yeah,
the looks of.
works fine. The other thing you can do if you want to change it, it's real easy to do, is put your finger or a tool along the glass straight to the bottom and move it across, and it will allow sand to fall in there, and
Yeah.
you'll have just a sand front. So, slick little trick that's pretty easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to open up a can of worms here.
Oh boy,
Um,
am I ready?
yeah, I'm ready. Right.
I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that lead in.
Well, and it
Take a
really
sip.
is a can of worms.
Take a sip.
Uh, there was a comment on a video we did last August. It's how to, can't remember the name exactly, how to have a perfect tank the first time, something like that. And Diana Wallstead responded. She left a message. You can go back and look at it and read my response. Basically, she had not encountered putting sand on dirt or mud, and thought her impression was that it could be a problem because it could prevent oxygen from permeating into the dirt layer. And then somebody told me she also made a comment about me or about the deep sand bed on one of the forums, a plant forum, which I have tried to find things on it. I can't make any sense out of the forum. It's just impenetrable to me. But basically, I responded to her. I hope graciously. I was honored to have her make a comment on my stream and said as much. And then said that it was actually my intention or my deliberate intention to try to keep oxygen out of the mud layer in order for it to become anaerobic. Apparently, that's something she has never considered, which surprises me a little bit. But the book did not deal with the issue. It dealt with the problem of anaerobics and with the problem of the dirt in the water having access to the water column. Um, so I did two things and I suggested that to her. I've been for about 10 years now doing two things to overcome the problems of dirt in the tank, one of which is to cap it, and the other is to increase its life, its longevity, by adding additional supplements to it when it's set up. There's a word that comes into play here that is not used very much at all in among freshwater enthusiasts. It's a word that's relatively common among saltwater enthusiasts. And the word is chelation. 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 I mentioned it once or twice before. Chelation is a process whereby a compound will break down like a rusty nail or iron oxide will break down over an extended period of time, making its elemental uh, product accessible to the roots of plants as nutrition. Now, I maintain, not from a scientific perspective, but purely from an observational one, that what happens to the mud in the deep substrate when it becomes anaerobic is that it chelates. It breaks down. The elements all break down over a relatively extended period of time, a year, 2 years, perhaps more. And that those elements then become accessible to the plants as nutrition, and for that matter, to other microscopic life that's living in the deeper levels of that substrate. There are, after all, animals, microscopic life that live at the margin between aerobic and anaerobic, and they will actually dip into the anaerobic to feed and then come back up to breathe, and back down into feed and back up to breathe. There's literature demonstrating that. Whether they're eating the chelated process of anaerobic material, I don't know. I can only assume that that's true. All of this is really in an effort not just to solve a couple of problems, but also to create an environment that is comparable to the environment you would find, Thomas, don't go away, the environment you would find in a pond. Thomas just walked in. I want him to set up his camera. We're going to go do an unboxing in a few minutes.
If you can post the link in the stream, I'm ready to go.
I'll do it right now.
All right.
Okay, so he's going to get online here, and I'm going to bring him up. So,
okay, so we're going to go to that, and no questions right now.
We can do a few.
Well, I just have one, and it's from a new person at 916, and I'm not even sure how to pronounce their name.
915.
916.
Trung
New, I think. Yeah.
Trung and Nguyen. What ingredients could I replace their Diatomaceous earth? It's funny you asked that question, because I've been racking my brain to try to remember what the mineralization of Diatomaceous earth is. It's frankly not coming to me. Here's Thomas. It is not calcium, I can tell you that much. It is a mineral replacement caused in the the fossilization of the diatom skeleton. So diatomaceous earth is a fossil product. It does not dissolve in water. So its function is primarily aeration, in that each of those little tiny granules are full of holes as a result of the original fossil, the diatom, which if you look at it under a microscope, looks like there's a ball that you play with that's full of little holes. Can't think of what it's called.
Oh, I was like a wiffle ball or a
wiffle ball, right? Thank you. Yeah, it looks for all the world like a microscopic wiffle ball. It's full of little holes, and so water passes through it, which is what makes it a particularly unique filter in the diatomaceous earth filter that filters out microscopic particles. Um, it similarly allows water to flow through it. Here's Thomas showing me in the office.
Okay.
We're very good. All right,
So
what
it's
else have
working.
we got?
It's
Anything
working.
else before we go to the back?
I didn't see any other questions, but I'll look afterwards.
Okay. All right. I'm going to head to the back and let me do this. Let me take.
Well, there's the macaw.
The
The blue, I think it's a blue and gold macaw. Probably the one that's making all the noise all the time. Talking all the time. Pretty. Easy. Is your audio working?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. I was just like, Thomas, can you talk to us? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can. I heard you.
Right. We just got a box in. I've already put the worms down. I don't want to let them sit very long. This box is saltwater fish, and this one is freshwater. There are a couple of things we ordered that did not come in, which is kind of disappointing. One was Lima shovel nose. You didn't get those. Okay. The other one, what happened here? Here we go. I don't know whether I'm on or not, because I can't see anything. We have turned the radio off.
Okay, guys. Full technical difficulties.
So let's get started. You know what? We got a red tail.
Yeah, we ordered
We did. We ordered two. We got two. Wonderful. That's a big help. All right.
I'll just set them in the red tail bin if you want. Or I guess yeah. I was actually just watching a documentary on the Amazon last night where they were catching red tail catfish and piabas. They were getting like 6 to 7 feet long, over 300 pounds. Yeah,
Wow.
they were. They don't know if they were eating people on the boat wreck or if they were just dragging people down that had bloody limbs, but that might have been enough to, especially in the Amazon. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah. In the piaba, it's a lot like the red tail, but it's silver on top and white on the bottom, and they're armored too. Yeah, so that's a real bulky fish.
The other one is just Asian.
Yeah, the one that actually does eat.
There's also a cat in the Ganges that routinely eats cadavers because there's so many that are released. Just it's part of the burial process in among many people in India. We've got some people on here from India. It'd be fun to have them relate some of their experiences about burial in the Ganges.
See if anybody knows anything.
All right, let's see what else. Goopies.
Can never have enough of those.
Goopies. We got males and females. And they are really quite nice. You beat up, but that's fairly typical. I see one magnificent one, and the rest are so-so. There's maybe two really nice ones.
That wire tail's nice looking too. All right. Whole, or you put them in the bottom more than the middle row.
Yeah, let's go to. We can separate out the male. That'll help as well. All right. We got a bunch of catfish and plecostomus. These are clown plecostomus.
Oh, there's one stuck in the bag. I'm trying to get it in focus.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but
Yep, I got him. Can you guys hear and see okay?
it's hard to see Thomas no matter what because of those bags. You know what I mean?
All right.
What's she saying?
Oh, nothing. I'm just
But
making
you're
sure they can
doing
see
the
in
best you
here.
can to get up on them.
Little Bashir.
These are the what?
The Endersilli
And liquor eye.
and
Right.
liquor eye.
Or whatever it is.
As long as you spell it correctly, that's all that matters.
CHRI or something. Let's see. I think these are going to go up here in the
I think I'm gonna get a tank for those myself, actually.
20. This is a royal pleco. Now, this is a really interesting guy. I have had these 18 inches long.
Let me get a shot from underneath. Yeah, there we go.
They have a very high profile. So their head comes up much higher than a normal fish does.
It's hard to get the perspective on the bag.
Yeah. I'll show them later on in the tank. These are mystery snails, and these are assassin snails. So let's put the new strings of the
What's it doing?
I cranked it up yesterday and it overflowed. I don't know what that was.
Do we need to cut the siphon like the other one? Drop it down in
We
it.
did that one.
No, we did this one.
We didn't do that one? Maybe. Okay, these are assassins. I think what we'll do is put them over here when we can keep track of. Spread them out in there if you want. All right. What are these? These are rubber lip plecos. They're kind of tiny, but they're a really excellent plecostomus. These are supposed to be albino. Well, I don't think they are. It says albino, but they don't look albino to me by any stretch. Anyhow, they're rubber lip plecos. The rubber lip plecostomus is an excellent algae eater and cleaner. We're going to have a hard time seeing them. Hard to see these in the bag. Let's see. Let's get them up. What do we want to do with these is spread them out. Spread those out in a number of tanks. What is this? Here's another royal. Really very cool little fish. Got a decent shot of him.
I'll take that one.
Thomas is buying fish today.
I am.
These are pandacories, an ever popular little guy.
Yeah.
Never have enough stories.
Never have enough cories. In there, that'll work.
Since the temperature has dropped, our stories have been breeding like crazy too.
These are the stone catfish. Really tiny little guys. They get a good bit bigger. don't know where in the world we're going to put them.
How many did you get?
I don't know. 6. 6, I
You
think.
want me to set up a tank for us? I'll take a couple of those. Nope. I got it.
These are chocolate, like chocolate Diatomaceous. And let's get them down. Again, they need to be spread out. They're half dozen.
Luckily, Pleco's stick in the bag very well.
This is, it's called an emperor, like a really pretty little guy.
Very fast. Okay.
Only one is up here, you see him?
Yep.
It's an emperor Pleco. Maybe right there. And these are stir-by, little stir-by cories. Boy, they're tiny too, aren't they? Yeah.
They're so tiny I can't see them in the bag.
You want to do them in the bottom?
I couldn't see them in the bag. They're so tiny.
Goldfish down there. We probably ought to not put them with the goldfish.
There's goldfish in both those.
Or they're
We'll put it
okay.
somewhere else.
So you put them in there, just pull the goldfish out.
All right.
And to unbag all these. This is called an albino marble poplar. They're
what
pretty
kind is it?
little. They get about 6 inches, maybe a little bigger.
It doesn't look like much on the camera, but they are beautiful.
Yeah, I think they're going to be real pretty. Albino poplar.
If they get sucked down, it's not like they're going to get hurt. Just end up in the bottom.
That's that.
All right. You take this camera over to the saltwater station.
Okay. Hi, Joey. Are you having fun?
Well, I'm trying to keep up with the chat and listen to you, and I'm all over the place.
Oh, dear. All right, set it on there. That's fine. Not a problem.
But I'm
We-
here.
we
I'm
had
here.
We interrupted Betsy's process here. This is her
yeah.
food tray. She normally is over on the other side. And she's feeding all of the animals. So this is part of the process. There's a seahorse. Yeah, the lights not working. Was it working? It was not working yesterday.
As long as it doesn't short out, because if it shorts, the timer resets, and then you have to reset the whole thing. So,
Okay.
fun of repairing, fish tanks on your own. At least styrofoam floats. It goes. It just sticks up in there. Yeah, it just fell down.
All right. So this is a
You guys can see that one.
yeah, a yellow angel.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah,
That one I
these
can
are
see.
these are nice fish.
You really see that one.
These are blue leg hermits. You can see they're really tiny, teeny tiny. Can't really see anything.
Turbos.
This is a bag of turbo snails that are wrapped in wet paper towel and put in a bag with oxygen in it. And that's how they're shipped. This is Atlantic pygmy angel. There he is, a little tiny guy.
I'll do some better shots of them later. That's a wonderful looking fish.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a video a little later, and I think we'll try to pick up. This is a tang. It's a powder brown, called a powder brown tang. Very, very pretty fish.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And these are all going in basically the same place.
Another little pygmy angel.
Pygmy angel, right? A coral beauty.
It's like an Oscar.
Yeah, they're pretty color. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Same kind of color pattern.
It's your saltwater Oscar, people.
Yeah, so Thomas, as long as you're close to Father Fish,
Yeah,
you can
this
hear.
is a bicolor angel.
That is a nice looking fish.
Yeah, really pretty fish. Okay, so that's it.
Really
So
pretty.
I'm going to go back to the studio, and Thomas is going to be unboxing, or rather unpacking everything.
All right.
Until he has to leave. He's going out to help somebody this morning.
Maybe all day.
Maybe all day.
We're taking down Christmas lights. Do you want me to live stream opening these?
Sure.
I'll do it for a bit. It's going to get pretty complicated in a second. So. Yep. No problem.
Yes, Cassie, it is. Cassie was mentioning that the signal is good today. It seems to be good because we were able to see him out in the store really well. I wonder if I'll get the same glitch you got yesterday. He should be back up.
All right, I'm back.
Here he is. I didn't have to cover very long, not like Cassie did yesterday.
Say stuff. I'll chop it up, make it into some videos. That way, if we have another day where we miss it, I'll have something to post.
Okay, great. Lovely. Hi, Chevy Fishes here. Yeah, mine too, Chevy. The Coral Beauty is a really sweet little fish. They stay small and they're really, really very pretty. Sandy the African gray is singing to us. All right, what's been happening in my absence?
Gotta wait till you come back.
Joey doesn't have sound up yet.
So they can hear you. I just can't hear you.
Yeah, and we can hear you.
You can hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, it'll go in a second, so you can just do your. You'll have
It's
to
a
do your
green
thing for a second.
machine. What does Father Fish think about measuring water parameters? Which one and how often? Any difference between salt, fresh, or pond water? Oh. It's really interesting and a really important question. Joey and I are kind of the same mind on this. We've both been keeping fish for a lot of years. And we don't do it. We don't check water parameters. The last time I checked water parameters in any of my tanks or systems, maybe a year ago. No, I did more recently because there was a question about pH and about hardness that a local biologist was raising about the nature of the water coming from the supplier, our municipal water supply. And he was saying that his KH was down around 2 or 3, and his GH was under 25. And that startled me because it has not been that low. He was also saying he was having trouble maintaining a stable pH because the KH was so low. So I checked mine, and mine was higher. Same water from the same supplier, with one substantial difference. My water is the wastewater from my RO system. So it has 2 to 3 times as much KH and GH as his does. In other words, when the RO system takes water out, takes minerals out of the water to make it RO, to reduce the dissolved minerals in it to near zero. Some of that is caught up by the filter, but a lot of it is released in a washout that the system does as it washes out all those minerals from the filter and puts them into the wastewater. So my wastewater, which is what I use for all of my freshwater systems, is a higher than normal KH and GH, which allows it to be more stable pH. So my pH is 7.5 to 8.0 routinely. It doesn't drop below that. His has been dropping, so he's going to have to start mineralizing his water in order to be able to hold a stable pH. So we called the water supply, called the company up and talked to them about it. They were a little surprised that it was not stable because they do remineralize the water. They put it through an RO system and then they remineralize it in order to be able to maintain a stable pH. So I asked my friend, who's was a retired biologist with the state, working in the Peace River, to call them up and talk with them, because he's got number one, a better background to be able to have that conversation, and he's the one with the problem. I'm not. So I'm expecting he'll get back to me. It's Charles. Uh, Charles is our angel supplier, breeds all of our angels. I provide him with blackworms on a regular basis, essentially a weekly basis. We do a barter system. We trade out. And he also raises Corydoras. He has had several large populations of Tanganyika cichlids, notably Duboisi and Frontosa, that he has done quite well with in the past. I don't think he has any Duboisi right now. He does have a large population of larger Frontosa that have not started spawning yet. So we're waiting for that. So thank you, Green Machine, for the question. Joey, you might want to say a little more about the issue of measuring water parameters.
I just don't. Now, maybe I'm lucky enough to have well water, and that keeps me from having some issues. One of the things I found probably 5 or 6 years ago was that, and let's just talk about pH. If you kept changing, trying to change the pH and let's say get to 7, because I have well water, as you stated, hard water that's very alkaline. So if I would try to bring it down to neutral, it would last about 24, 48 hours, and it would always go back to what it was. It always reverted back. And so I fought that for a little while, and then finally I realized, for me, stop fighting my water. My water is my water. And the fish, as you said, will adapt to it. So, when I bring fish in, most of the time everything makes it. Occasionally you'll get a fish that won't. But they adapt to the alkaline water very well. And so I don't fight it. And I just do what I do, and I do my water changes, and I walk around and look at my tanks. And, I'm not a very rigid fish keeper. I just do what I need to do when I see that I need to do a water change, and I just fly by the seat of my pants, and it works. You know, I'm not into the kits and the testing, and I just don't get into that. And that's not going to be for everybody. And maybe, as I stated, that I'm lucky because I am on well water. Maybe that's why I get away with it. I don't know.
Well water is it's extremely stable. You're going to get the same water year after year after year.
Right.
It's really just not going to not going to vary much at all.
Yeah, I just don't have any problems, so I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And so that might not be for everyone, but it might work for some people. But I really feel that no matter where you are, your water kind of is your water, and your fish have to adapt to it.
I find that most new people will buy some kind of a test kit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And they'll use it for a week or a month or a couple of months, and then use it less and less.
Yeah.
I get a lot of used kits that come in here routinely. What are you looking at?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yes, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
With the keyholes? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think you wanted them in there.
No, these are the liquor eye.
I love the way you say that.
Nice. And liquor eye. It's the biker. Thomas
it's pretty
says
cool looking, even in the bag. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to put
what that will look like in the
on the other ones used to be?
So anyway, I'm not saying that way is for everybody. What I do, you have to feel your way through things. The other thing I think is once you get fish in your tank, in your water, and if you want to breed them, the babies are going to be even better. They're going to be healthier, more stable because they're born and bred in your water, and it makes a huge difference. So I don't know where he went. We're having glitches again. And I have not looked at the chat because I was talking. So, but
I don't know what happened.
gone again. So
I don't know what happened.
I was just saying that I feel like if you breed fish like I do, once you get the fish in and they adapt to your water, their babies are going to be even better, more stable because they're born and bred in your water. So I just think, as you go along, your fish get better and better.
It's a really interesting point because guppies are a good example.
I can't hear you, but they can.
Guppies are a good example of a fish that does not adapt well to new conditions, new water. Very frequently, you'll get a pair of guppies or some guppies in, and they will languish and suffer, and over a period of a week or so, they'll all die. That happens pretty frequently. It's a fairly common experience for most everybody. What also happens, however, is that if there's a female in that group whose babies are close to being born, they will be born. She'll push them out. And the babies will always survive. The babies will have an instant ability to adapt to the water they're born into. So for a lot of guppy breeders, they will struggle to keep new guppies alive, keep them going in their tank long enough to get fry. And then the fry will be fine. And they'll grow up and they'll be fully adapted, fully acclimated to your water. So that kind of thing can happen too. I've not noticed it to be a substantial problem with anything other than guppies. They seem to be uniquely susceptible for some peculiar reason. And my belief is it's because fancy guppies are raised by specific breeders over extended numbers of generations. A breeder may raise a line of guppies 15, 20, 25 generations. That could be 5 to 10 years of that fish and all of its offspring in the identical water. You pull those fish out of there and put them in something different, and very often they will struggle. That's not the case with nearly all other fish. Nearly all other fish are moved around considerably more frequently. The guppy is unique in that it is maintained, particularly the very high, very heavily line bred guppies are maintained in identical water conditions for many, many, many years. And every fish coming out of there is coming out of water that they and their parents for generations back have been in that identical water. That's my theory. I don't know what the reality is.
You know, I have a group of koi angelfish. Very beautiful. But and I'm not going to say any names, but I bought them from a breeder that keeps a very sterile environment. Very sterile. And those fish, I mean, you know, they're grown up, they're of breeding age, but there's just something about them that's not quite the same as the ones I've raised and a couple other fish that I've purchased here and there. And truthfully, I sit there and go, I can't wait till they breed because I feel like I can, with the babies, I'm going to get the stable, robust fish that I want. But these guys, there's just something a little off about them. And I think it's because it was so sterile. And that's why I'm all for the dirtier tanks and breeding my fish in the dirtier tanks because, you know, it's kind of like if you are brought up in a sterile environment, let's say your children never had a cold, never had anything, then you send them to kindergarten and bam, they're exposed to everything. And that's what I think happens is, you know, you take these fish, whatever anybody's breeding, out of this perfectly sterile environment, and then you put them in a normal tank, and that's what you're saying. They just don't always thrive. So that's why I go the other way. But I think it works, you know. And I would like to welcome, you have a lot of new people here today, Father Fish, in the chat. Are you drinking coffee grounds?
I am.
And it's in your beer.
You like beer?
Yeah, you gotta take care of that. Anyway, there are new people here in the chat today, and welcome. We love to see new people. I know we've been, you know, out doing the unboxing, and then we've been talking, so I've missed a lot of hellos, but
That was one nasty cup of coffee there.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Cowboy coffee.
Absolutely. I was just gonna mention to you, can we take a little break so I can get a coffee? I don't have any grounds in my coffee.
I need to make a fresh pot, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Let me
so anyway, yeah, and then then we can, you know, we've gotten off on a tangent, but we can always try to find some questions for you when we come back if you want to do that. Are you gonna make fresh coffee? Not that coffee.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know if I can. I don't have any water up here. I need water to do
that
it.
That was a lot in the bottom.
Yuck. All right.
Anyway.
Here we
go. When I find myself in times of tank trouble, Father Fishy comforts me.
Oh, well.
Speaking words of wisdom, and in my time of dark.
This song I need to play it when we're online. It's beautiful. Let's do Cassie's.
I found my way to Father Fish. He comes on in the morning every day. Add some soil, cap it with sand, then add plants. He will help you do it the right way. Add some fish, then walk away. Feed them high quality food. Thy food is best. Keep it dirty, keep it all natural. I found my way back to Father Fish. Wow. When I find myself in times of take trouble, Father Fish, he comforts me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my time of darkness, he is streaming right in front of me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Add some sand and let it be. Father's words of wisdom, let it be. When all the broken-hearted fishes living in the tank agree, there is an answer, let it be. For though it may be cloudy, there is still a chance that they can see. There is an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Add some sand and let it be. There is an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Add some sand and let it be. Father's words of wisdom, let it be.
Ever visit a place that was so different, you just didn't want to leave it? Step into the amazing world of Father Fish Aquarium. You'll be mesmerized by his exotic collection of saltwater and freshwater creatures, tanks and accessories, plus birds, lizards, turtles, and more. You'll never find another place like it on dry land. Father Fish Aquarium, 536 East Venice Avenue. You won't want to go home.
We're back.
We're back. And as I said, you got a bunch of new people in.
Okay. Yeah, if you got some questions, we got a bunch of new people, you said.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of new people.
Let me get over on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I can look at these. And
Oh, Guppy Grass Galore says he got his check from the government. Plan to set up my first betta tank. Excited. Nice. That'll be fun.
lovely. Hey, Richard.
Hello.
Oh,
Another cup.
Oh, okay.
You knew that? Oh no, it's the heater. I thought it was the.
Oh, wait. Hey, Richard.
Hello.
Okay. Top chat.
yeah.
Live
I'm
chat.
scrolling for. I mean, there's a lot of talk. I'm just looking for actual questions. You know.
Say hi to me. I'm Sherman from Argentina. G32. Hello, hello. Nice to have you with us.
Yes.
Let's see, it's 10:01. Is that right?
You got a nice comment from Techmon. at 9:54.
Read it. I'm
Well,
not
it just says, hello, Father Fish, 20 million subs this year. Love the show. Your YouTube is amazing. Thank you so much.
lovely. Thank
Love
you.
the show.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Cassie B talking about her bettas enjoying warm water. You bet they do. I had some. What?
Sorry. I see a question, but you finish your statement. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a group of bettas in my betta system, which is not heated, and during the cold spell, the temperature dropped, and they just every one of them clamped up,
Oh,
and
yeah. They don't like the cold.
they were ready to die.
Yeah.
So we moved them all over to a new system we just set up that's heated, and they came right back up again. It was amazing. They look
Yeah.
pretty and happy now. So yeah, bettas not only like heat, they need heat.
Yes.
If it's much below 75, they're going to be in trouble.
Well, like you said, they'll clamp. They won't digest their food properly. They just fail. You got a question from Dave B.
Okay.
At 9:53. I mean, I don't know. Is it so much a question, but it's interesting.
So go ahead and read it.
Okay. It says, I'm on a well, and our water runs through a softener. And I couldn't keep guppies alive long enough to drop fry until I mineralized with GH. My softened water out of the tap is about 11 plus KH. But and that's why I went, because I'm like, yeah, that water softener, the filter's killing your water. But I guess you figured that out, and you're trying to remineralize.
Yeah, exactly. So
the
what you
only
need
other thing,
to do,
if you could do it, is that might be easier. Would be if you could get some of the water, before it hits that filter. If you could use it from the well itself before it runs through your system.
yeah, there should be an outside faucet.
Right. A way to get it that's not hooked up to the water softener. That would
These
just
are the ones I'm buying. Where should I leave them?
solve the problem.
Just put them in a tank. Just float them in a heated tank. Okay.
And so it was more of a statement, but at least they figured out what the problem was. You're right. The water softener is taking out all the good minerals.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. If you have a water softener on your well or on your water coming into the house, do not use that water for your fish.
Absolutely.
It pulls the carbonates out, which will prevent your pH from being able to be stable in the presence of biological activity. You want to get water before it goes through the softener. Whatever it takes to do that, that's what you want to do. Do not use. Now you can obviously remineralize it, but then you're not going to have a stable environment. It's going to vary depending on how much you take out, how much you put in, how you measure it, and so forth. You're better off using the water that is already stable, that's coming into your house, that's coming out of your well. And if you got a well water is, generally speaking, absolutely perfect. There is no better water you can have for your freshwater fish than well water. So by all means, you can run that water through a raceway and keep fish in it alive indefinitely, just constantly changing water. And they'll be perfectly happy. So,
well, I would say I'm a testament to the well water because
yeah, absolutely,
it works. And like I said, I'm lucky enough to have it, and I realize that.
Right.
And if you're in the city, there's just no way around it.
We'll see what's happening to my coffee here. I'm having a coffee problem.
Yeah, you are. I don't know how you ended up with that many coffee grounds in the bottom of your cup.
I think it's okay now. The filter split.
Okay, because I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was one of those glued together cone filters, and it just
just split.
peeled open. There were no grounds at all in the filter bag. They were all in the
They were
pot.
all in your cup. Yeah.
All right. So G32. G32 here is begging to be
I
blue.
just said
We're
hi
going
in
to
the
make
chat.
them blue. Say what?
They wanted us to say hi. I just said hi in the chat.
Maurice Montla. So what do you, he says play. I assume he means pay for your fish. I buy at wholesale. I'm a retailer, and I'm able to buy my fish from wholesale suppliers who sell who import and otherwise purchase at job lot prices or directly from farmers who I deal with because they have a wide selection of fish and they're local and they deliver and they do a good job of acclimating. So I pay a little more for all that. In some cases, I pay a lot more for all that, but I get good quality. Yes,
I'm taking off. Your camera's set up to go. Just press start when you want to record. Microphone's turned on.
Okay, are there other fish that need to be released?
I'll go through and make sure. I labeled everything. The prices might not be accurate because originally I listed them for $7.50, but at least everything is labeled now.
Okay.
None of the plecos except for the Emperor and Royal are in the tanks they're labeled as, though. I've labeled the top tanks, and then, like you said, I spread the plecos out over all the tanks.
Oh, right.
They're
Okay.
all $10, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So,
right.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. Have a good day.
I will. You too.
Come back as soon as you can.
We will.
Thomas is hiring out for Richard today.
Oh, okay. Were you done with that question? Are you ready for a different question?
I think. I've lost track.
Well, look at 10:03. G32 has a question.
Yes.
And it says, is summer here in South America, and my water is getting above what my plants and fish need. How can I cool it down? So I guess the water temperature is too high. How can they cool it down?
I think Tom's looking for a 40-gallon.
At 10:03.
I've got it.
Thomas. Tom
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, I think he's coming in
Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah. Unless you can take worms to him.
I'm going to take worms to him today.
Okay.
But
yeah, tell him I've got some.
And then he can come by. I'll tell him I'll have Thomas look for it.
I'm sorry.
But that's okay. I mean, I think basically it's really hot where they are in South America, and I think what I'm understanding here is their water temperature is getting too high. What can they do to cool it down? I'm just not sure.
Okay. I want you to think about this. You're in Argentina. There are native tropical fish in Argentina. Tropical fish that we have and admire in the hobby. You might want to list what some of them are. That would be of interest to us for you to come up with a bit of a list of what fish are native to you in Argentina that we might recognize as critters that we find in our local fish store. So think about this. If the temperature is up around 100 degrees, if it gets that hot, the water temperature in water running along the ground is going to be 5 to 10 degrees lower than that. It'll be 90 to 95. And the fish living in that water have been living in that water at that temperature for tens of thousands of years. they're perfectly adapted to it. Unless your water gets over 100 degrees, it is not going to be a problem for tropical fish. They naturally, in their natural environment, tolerate water temperatures like what you're experiencing in the summer. Now, it is possible in a closed up residential human residential unit that your air temperature, your room temperature, could be 100 plus with no relief for the fish by virtue of their being in a fish tank and not in the ground. My question would be, how do you tolerate temperatures like that in your living environment? Never mind the fish. How in the world do you handle 100-degree temperatures? If it's 85 to 90, it's not an issue at all. If it's 95, it's really not an issue. Anything over that becomes a problem. Anything over 100 can be deadly. But that condition almost never occurs in nature because the temperature of the ground, once you get below 6 to 8 inches, it drops to about 70 degrees, even in tropical climates. So that's going to have an immediate effect on the water temperature sitting in or running along the ground. But give us some more information. What kind of temperatures are you talking about? And what kind of fish do you have living there that you're able to collect and keep in your fish tanks?
Because you're just interested in that.
I really am.
Yeah. You have a question from Hansel Dominguez. It just wants to know, how do I raise alkalinity?
How do you raise alkalinity? Carbonates or minerals, KH and GH. KH is, all KH is GH, all GH is not KH. KH maintains temperature, it's carbonates. GH can be iron or other minerals that will hold that hardness up, but with the carbonates are needed to hold the pH stable.
Are you finished?
I don't know. I lost track. I think my brain just went blank or something.
Because I'm like, I have another question. If you're done there.
Well, Chevy Fish just made a comment.
Okay.
Saying, make sure if you're going to use a leaf in a small betta tank, you only use a little piece. The tannins will change the parameters too fast. I use oak leaves for smaller tanks. Yeah, I do too. I really like it.
Well, I use catappa leaves, but you can use anything. And actually, I'll ask this question before we go to the one I was headlined up. Somebody, and I don't recall because I was scrolling, but somebody asked about using magnolia leaves, which I believe you can. Magnolia leaves.
Yeah, needling any leaf, you want to make sure they're dried out.
And no pesticides. No
green leaf and no pesticides, right? Yeah. And nothing green.
But as you said, dry. Yeah. So G32, who had also asked the other question about the heat, the high temperature, is asking, would a sand bed aquarium work well with no soil? I've already done it that way a year ago, and I can't redo it. So I'm assuming they've just done a sand bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Important fact, after about a year, there's enough detritus that's worked its way down in that for it to become nutritional. So the sand bed is fine. If it sits there for a while, a year, 2 years, it will stabilize. It'll increase in nutritional value, and it will support plant growth.
Yeah. So the key would be to make sure it's deep enough and you don't disturb it, correct?
Yeah, exactly. You never want to stir it up.
Right.
If you stir it up, you break down the system that's developing in the tank that has, frankly, everything to do with aerobics. This apprehension people have about aerobics. Right. You don't want your water to become aerobic. That's true. Because it'll kill everything. And the best way to do that is dump a can of food in your tank. That'll make it aerobic pretty quick. You do want your deep substrate to be aerobic because it breaks down waste. And it breaks it down in such a way as to allow plants to take it up as nutrition. Plants cannot take up nutrition unless it is in an anaerobic environment. And the proof of this is that the tiny cilia, the teeny, tiny roots that are on the root stems create anaerobics. They create an anaerobic environment by pushing CO2 into that little space in order to break down the minerals and so forth, the waste that's there, to be able to assimilate it. So you create that kind of environment for the roots, and they'll be fat and happy because they'll be getting it without having to work for it.
Right. But they need at least 2 or 3 inches of sand, right?
Yeah, to do that, that anaerobic does not occur in less than 2 inches. So you need 2 inches plus. 2 inches plus the anaerobic layer. 2 inches is aerobic. Below the 2 inches is anaerobic. It's in that anaerobic layer that the machinery of life occurs. And I know there's disagreement about that from high places. All I have to offer in response is prove me wrong. Because if you do what I'm suggesting, it works.
It will work.
Every time, absolutely, automatically, it works.
It does. So I'm changing off of there, and we're going to a question Alex has asked. And hello, Alex. Father, before plastic bags, when you use wax Chinese food takeout boxes, do you remember other carrying containers? Glass, possibly? Question mark? Glass ever? How did you carry your fish before the Chinese cartons or the plastic bags?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Jars and buckets.
So it was glass jars and buckets. Okay.
Yeah, the way fish were shipped from Florida to New York and other points north prior to plastic bags was in milk cans. There would be a flatbed train solid with milk cans with fish in them. They were half full of water with fish before oxygen, even before there was O2 available.
Right.
They shipped them in milk cans. They had to ship a limited number. You couldn't put 1,000 little guppies in a milk can. You might have 100. So lots and lots of milk cans. You filled up an entire bed of a train. Well, the what's it called? The vehicle, the cab, whatever.
The box?
The box, yeah, the box. You filled that up with milk cans, 100, 200 milk cans, and put a relatively small number in each one, and it would take 2 to 3 days to get to its destination. So the losses were always pretty high.
Yeah.
But that's how they did it. They didn't fly them in. It wasn't until air flight that it became possible to get fish routinely out of South America. Prior to that, onesie, twosie, you would see a pair of fish that some sailor had kept alive on a ship for weeks or months at a time before they got here. So we're in the golden age. We are. Notwithstanding COVID. And yes, I do remember the little Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a question at 10:12. I'm sorry. I'm gonna with the name, but I think it's Andra Drudick at 10:12.
Okay.
Hi, Father Fish. I am watching you again while I clean my tank a bit. Anyway, do you have any recommendations for growing moss?
Boy, I'll tell you, moss is a tough one. I really don't. I'm able to do it occasionally, not routinely. Alex is on here. He's got some videos about it, and he might want to make a comment about growing moss. He's probably the best plant
If
guy.
he has a video, yeah. I mean,
yeah, he's probably the best plant guy we've got online right now. Do you do much moss, Joey? Yeah.
I grow it, and it grows well. For my experience, I mean, you can have 6 tanks, and 4 tanks, it's going gangbusters, and then the other 2, and I don't do anything any different. So, for me, it's kind of hit or miss, but when it grows well. If it likes the tank.
When it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, some of it does real well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kenneth just has a statement, and it is true. He says, I've noticed that fish seem to tolerate low temperatures in the wild. And they do.
They do, and it's because the temperature drops very slowly. In a body of water, like a pond or a lake, when it starts getting colder, that temperature drops very, very slowly. It probably is not going to drop 1 degree a day, maybe half a degree or a third of a degree a day. So the fish have ample opportunity to adapt to that very gradually dropping or increasing temperatures, which is why if the temperature in your tank drops suddenly, the fish can get ick because their ability to stave off parasites is reduced by the shock that they have suffered. Whereas if it drops very slowly, you can drop it down to 60 degrees if you're doing it very slowly, and it won't hurt them at all, but it's got to be slow. It's one of the problems with fish keeping that we do not have any easy ways to overcome. I mean, if a heater craps out and it's cold and you don't notice it, your fish are very likely to get sick. Fortunately, kicking that temperature back up to 86 degrees will overcome the problem.
Yeah. You have a super chat, Father Fish.
Oh, good.
And
hello.
so you have a super chat. from Jonas.
Oh, there it is. Hi, Jonas.
Thank you.
Johans
Johanna.
Martensen. SEK 50. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
Yes. And but I just wanted to get back to the temperature thing for a second.
Yeah.
So in a a native situation, a wild, if a fish is in a wild situation, even in a pond, if they're swimming in and out of the shade in their plants and stuff, I feel like the temperature is sometimes more than a degree or two difference, but they adapt to it. That's why I think fish in general are tougher than people give them credit for,
Yeah,
they can
that's
handle
right.
a lot more than what people think they can.
You bet. You bet.
Everybody's like, oh, the temperature has to be absolutely stable 24 hours a day. And it's like, I don't think so. It could vary, I think 5 to 6 degrees between, day and night, and they'll be fine. That's just me.
Okay. We're at 10:30. I think we're going to,
We're at
I've got people
10:30.
piling in here. Yeah, I've got to
Okay,
do some
yeah.
other things.
And we have had a lot of new people in the chat today, and while we were talking, obviously missed a lot of hellos, but I did type it in. But thank you for coming in and welcome to the Father Fish Show.
Yes, delighted to have
He
you.
is full of knowledge, so if you just hang around, even if you don't
Yeah,
ask
come
a
on.
question,
Yeah,
you're
come
gonna
on
get
back.
plenty.
You will earn
Yeah.
yourself a wrench if you come on back.
You will. You will.
Johan says, do you have any gravel vac in any of your tanks or just water changes? I absolutely never gravel vac because I never use gravel. I never use gravel. I only use sand. I got somebody waiting for me. Let me get some music up and we're gonna get off here. What's up?
I can come back in a little bit. The brown bunny or the black bunny. Will you hold it for me if I give you the money on it? And if I don't get the money, I'll spend it on the saltwater.
You bet. Sure.
What is it? 20, 25?
20. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me do that. I'm gonna bring my daughter back.
Okay, great.
Thank you. My last name. We know each other.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
The dark bunny.
Okay.
All right.
The bunny. He wants the bunny.
The bunny. Well,
Somebody
cool.
wrote like having bunnies.
Yeah, somebody wants
I
bunny.
know. They're cute and all, but.
So, anyway, we never possibly get to all the questions.
Well, and it's been kind of an off day today.
We've been all over the place. So, but
Yeah.
Again, if somebody has a really serious question, you can always try emailing Father Fish or come back tomorrow, and we'll try to respond. But it has been a very different day.
Happy to, right? Right. We've got, what we got? Let's do this. We got a bunch of new people. Let's do our song here.
If you're new, Father Fish starts and ends with songs that people have done for him.
Let's see. I guess if I put the volume on, it would probably work better.
Hey, we wouldn't want this day to go any different. Well, we pride ourselves on it's never the same every day, right?
come on back. We're here every morning, the same hour, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, in the evenings at 6 Eastern Standard Time. Whatever that time is for you, wherever you are in the world, you are more than welcome to join us in our global fish chat.
Absolutely.
Bye for now. Take
Bye,
care
everyone.
all.